Hi. Hey, all you super women out there. I'm so happy that you guys are, well, dolls. I call you all affectionately dolls. I'm so glad that you dolls have joined this summit because this event has been in the making for quite some time and a lot went into it. And I feel like a lot is being gotten from it. Like, so many people have been so blessed yesterday. And so it's just exciting. Haley, can you guys hear me okay? All right. So how about my screen? Can you guys see my screen? Perfect. All right. So let me start my timer because if y'all didn't know, Haley has a gong and she will gong me. And I don't want to be embarrassed in front of y'all, not while I'm having a crap ton of fun with y'all. So as Haley said, relationships are super, super important because it's what it's what supports us. It's what keeps us going. It's what helps us to, for many of us, it's our why, right? Your relationship with your man, even if whether you have a man or not, some of you want a man, but with those who have a man, your relationship with your man, your relationship with your children, I affectionately call them mini me's. You need those supports in place, right? And a lot of times we miss out on that balance, right? We miss out on keeping it all together so that everybody's happy. So I kind of want to talk about that today because if we're going to be successful in anything in our careers, because everybody's not an entrepreneur, everybody's not a business owner, but we're all women, right? And we all want to be successful at what it is that we're doing. We all want to thrive. We all want to, we all want to prosper and be profitable in whatever it is that we're doing. And again, those relationships, they support us, they help us. And when we find the balance in that, it helps us, it helps the journey to be a little bit easier because it's rough out here. It's rough out here, regardless of what your career is. It's rough out here for we women, and so I will say this. Let me say this. I am a feminist, but not extreme. Like, I'm not a feminist to the point of, we don't need men and men are important and men are the devil, that type of thing. Not like that. But I'm just really, really all about girl power. I'm just really about advocating for women. I'm really about uplifting women and using my energy to do that. And so when I talk about relationships and how rough it is out here for us, I mean, it's real. Everywhere you turn, something or someone is coming for our rights as women, right? And we've always got to constantly and consistently fight for what's right for us and for us women advocates, for others as well. And so, again, having those relationships, they're needful. And so if you're out here in the field and you want to pursue success in your career and you want to be prosperous and profitable and all of that, and you've got all of this hodgepodge going on in your private relationships, it puts a strain on what it is that you're doing. So we want to talk about that. So let's get to the slides. And I know that y'all are probably thinking, well, you haven't even told us who you are and what you're about and everything. I got you. That's why we get into these slides. Oh, I do have to put out a disclaimer. So there will be lots of laughter. I just need to tell you, like, there will be lots of laughter. It's just what I do. And so, I laugh at myself. It annoys some people. It helps other people to laugh. And so, I just say, laugh with me. I mean, because we're about to have some fun. So real talk about your man, your money, and your mini-me, right? That's what I like to do. And I'm going to be sharing with you some pieces from a guide that I have for the Superwoman that I put together for the Superwoman. It's a guide for building and maintaining relationships, but not even just building the relationships, maintaining relationships, but also mending relationships. Because like I said, there are in our journey, in our quest for profit and prosperity in our careers, um our relationships get a little bit rocky. There's we because of that lack of balance, right? And we need to know how to navigate that and, you know, get our relationships where they need to be, so again that they are getting what they need from us, but we're definitely getting what we need from them. So who is the Superwoman? People ask me that all the time. She's a high achiever. She's independent. She's a leader. She's a decision maker. And she is an action taker. Okay. That's
Amen.
who the Superwoman is. That's what she does. And so I really wanted to point that out because sometimes people confuse being a superwoman with superwoman syndrome. And there is a difference, okay? The syndrome is when you believe your own hype. When you know, you can't believe your own hype. Listen, you know, you are incredible for sure, but you know, you might be trying to do a little bit too much. And again, that type of stuff puts a strain on your relationships. But the Superwoman is dope, okay? She is undeniably dope. And look at these accolades: high achieving, independent, a leader, a decision maker, an action taker. What is to be ashamed of when it comes to that? That's all some good stuff right there. Like, who wouldn't want to be these things? That is who we are. So, you know, I don't think that we should be, you know, running from that or trying to mask that. Like, we should be proud to wear the S. Y'all see my Superwoman tee? Ah! We should be proud to wear this S on our chest, okay? Because listen, all of these things make us who we are, okay? So no shame, no guilt, no none of that. Nothing negative about being a Superwoman. We are who we are and we do what we do. But the Superwoman is also hard-headed. She's controlling. She's insecure. Oh man. And she's unfulfilled. But why? Because she's afraid. And so these are the things that we bring into our relationships, Superwoman. And listen, don't disconnect from me. Don't get upset with me because I called you out, because that's what I do. Like I always say, it takes a Superwoman to sharpen a Superwoman. And so I'm very used to getting pushback because of all of those accolades that I said before, and even what you see on the screen right now. Hard-headed, controlling, insecure, unfulfilled. Can't nobody tell you nothing. Once you've made up your mind, you're going in that direction, all of those good things. So the very things that make you so dope are the very things that kind of trip you up and get in your way, right? And so these are not bad things. Because listen, being hard-headed is what helps you to stand on your tens. That's some hood vernacular. Y'all know I'm a little sophisticated girl from the hood, right? So listen, being hard-headed helps you to stand on your tens, to help you stand flat-footed in the face of adversity, in the face of the hard things, in the face of the things that you've got to get done. Because listen, for the most part, we're trailblazers, right? Because we make things happen, we get things done. It's who we are. So you need to be hard-headed. So it's not a bad thing. That's why I told you don't disconnect from it, because I'm not attacking you. I'm just calling you out, you know. But also being controlling when it's unbalanced. Being controlling is not necessarily a good thing, but it's that thing about you that takes control of a situation, right? It's who you are. It's what you do. You see something out of order, out of line, out of place, and you step in to do your Superwoman thing, right? That's it. So being controlling is just simply a lack of balance, right? But insecure, oh my gosh. Okay, so when you're feeling insecure, Superwoman, right? What that helps you to do, because listen, we're going to take these what some people will call negatives, we're going to make them pluses. Okay, we're going to make them positives. What being or feeling, should I say, insecure will help you to do, Superwomen, is face a challenge. It'll cause you to go inside and analyze the situation and assess the situation and make some decisions that will help you and others get out of that situation. So, and unfulfilled, oh my gosh, this one hurts me. It hurts me, Superwoman. The being unfulfilled, how can we turn that into a positive? That feeling of unfulfilled, it creates in you that desire to be more and to do more and to have more. And when you are successfully being more, doing more, and having more, then you create an environment and a space for others to do the same. So let's talk about being afraid. Because all of these things, in their negative connotation, they're fear-based. They all come from you being afraid. But the question is, Superwoman, what are you afraid of? So you're feeling afraid because of fear, right? You're afraid of being played. You're afraid of being used. You're afraid of being devastated. You fear being hurt. So what do? You guard yourself. You protect yourself, right? But the problem with that is, well, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to protect yourself, right? But again, everything with balance, because these relationships that we're talking about, the relationship with your man, the relationship with your mini-me, and even the relationship with your money, I didn't forget about that part. All of those things, they need you to not be guarded with them. Okay, so we're going to get more into the steps that you need to talk about, but I really just wanted to point this out to you all and kind of address what is really going on, because that's what's in your soul. And that's what people ask me, why a Superwoman's soul? Because that's where the magic happens for us, Superwoman. Listen, here it is. You have your spirit, which is your higher self, right? But then you have your soul. And you know what? No, I'm not going to tell you that yet. I'm going to wait till I get to that part. I got a whole screen dedicated to that. But I wanted to point out to you that it's because of fear. This is my favorite slide because I love these pictures. I know y'all can relate to these. No, look at this. How many of you have done this? Just somebody just pissing you off, but you just hollering in the phone like, ah! Oh my gosh. Okay, I know some of you can relate to this one. I love it. Oh, I call this the resting bee face. I ain't going to say the B word. I'm just going to use the syllable. Oh my gosh. This is I can't believe this crap. Listen, I want y'all to add your own captions to this, okay? Okay, this one right here, this one is serious. Listen, when a Black woman throws her hands up and says, that's it, listen, that is it. That is all. That is it. And again, that is all. So frustration. All of us feel frustration. It's no way to escape that. It's no way to get around that. And so we got to talk about it. We've got to deal with it. And again, that's why the Superwoman soul. So let me ask you this. Do you find yourself frustrated because you think that your man or your mini-me, they don't hear you, they don't respect you, or they don't appreciate you? Sometimes we feel like that. And the thing is, and I was sharing this with Haley on one of our talks one day about how the importance of how we feel, how we tend to minimize how we feel. oh man, y'all got to help me with my time because I didn't start my timer. So, how we feel is so important, right? But what we tend to do is we minimize it, we squash it, we suppress it, we push it down, keep pushing it down, right? But the thing about that is, no matter how much you tuck it, no matter where you tuck it, when you get to capacity, it's going to spill over, okay? And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to show up. And when it shows up, it can potentially damage your relationships. I'll give you an example of one of my brother cousins was murdered, and it took a serious toll on me mentally and emotionally. And I was in a space because I'm not really a highly emotional person. Um, some people would not realize that I'm going through what I'm going through. And so my sister and my daughter were at my house one night. And one of the things that I used to do to just kind of decompress and get my mind off of stuff was watch Law and Order. And listen, I was so into it, I would be like, I'm in the middle of an investigation. Like people would be bothering me, like, don't talk to me. I'm in the middle of an investigation. And so I was watching the show one night, and my sister and my daughter, they were there entertaining each other. And then my daughter, just being herself, she reacted she was trying to talk to me, and I was in shutdown mode. I was in complete shutdown mode. I was really at capacity, but unfortunately I didn't know that I was at capacity. And so she said something loudly to me, and it triggered me. And a couple of minutes ago, y'all heard me say that I'm a sophisticated chick from the hood, right? So my hood instincts kicked in, and before I know it, I had gripped her up. I grabbed her shirt by her chest, wrapped her shirt in my hand so that I had a good lock on her. I'm not trying to be violent, y'all, but I just really want y'all to understand how when it boils over, and you're not in control of it, right? And so my street instincts kicked in, and I'm doing this to my daughter, my child, my mini me, okay? And I pulled her close, and it was already locked in. Like the data was locked in that I'm going to punch her in her face. Yes. But what kept it from happening was my sister bust out laughing, because again, they didn't see the severity of what was going on with me. And when my sister bust out laughing, I snapped out of it. I came back to reality, to the present, and I realized what was about to happen. And listen, could you imagine the damage that would have been done if I had punched my daughter, my only child, in her face? Could you imagine that? So thank God there was something there that could save me, but it's not always going to be that, Superwoman. So the importance of you not suppressing and pushing down all of these emotions and these feelings that you have, you've got to process them, because they're not like thoughts. Thoughts you can control. You can change a thought just like that. But your feelings, you can make a decision not to feel something, but that feeling sits with you. And like I said, it's tucked somewhere. So got to process them. But also, do you feel anxious? Do you feel nervous? Or do you feel stressed when you when you talk about money? Listen, a lot of us out here, a lot of the women that I work with, that I talk to, and that I help, they have, six-figure incomes and such, whatever. Not every woman. And, because I don't discriminate. I work with people in different capacities, but, the people who work with me one-on-one with coaching, they are, they have a significant income, right? But even those women, they feel these feelings. They feel anxious. They feel nervous. They feel stressed. And they've got money in the bank, okay? And so, again, these feelings, they come from somewhere. And we've got to deal with them because these feelings affect our relationships. But I also want to ask you, Superwoman, do you feel misunderstood by your loved ones, by your mini-me, by your dude, by your man? Do you feel misunderstood? You're always trying to get them to understand. Always trying to get them to see. You're always trying to get them to know what it is that you need for them to know, right? And they just don't get it. So you're feeling misunderstood, which kind of makes you feel alone, right? But then that leads you to a place of sometimes feeling a little hopeless, right? Because you try everything, you give everything, you do everything, and you feel like nothing works. Nothing works. And then you just, like the lady with the dude in the other slide, she was like, mm-mm. But Superwoman, I want to keep you from getting there, okay? I don't want you to be there. I don't want to do that. But everything that I just described to you, they're all signs of broken, strained, or missing relationships. What is a missing relationship? A relationship that you need in your life. But because of you being guarded, and those kind of things, those relationships, you're not making room for them to be in your life, even if you want them. So, feelings. I got to tell you, Superwoman, it's the fear. It's not your man, it's not your mini-me, and it's not your money that's causing you frustration. It's the fear. All right. So I want to read this. When a Superwoman's relationships with her loved ones are broken and strained. Hold on, I can't see. Well, let me see. Can I move this? Yeah, I can. All right, there we go. There we go. When the Superwoman's relationships with her loved ones are off, when there are broken, strained, or missing relationships, she's robbed of peace. And this interferes with her performance and her productivity. So back to what I was saying at the onset, Superwoman, we all want to be prosperous out here. We all want to be productive out here, right? We all want to prosper. We all want to be successful in our careers. And so the things that affect our performance and our productivity, one of those are those strained relationships with our man, our money, our mini-me's, like, because they create a certain energy in us and they cause us to act and fail to act and react a certain way. So, let's get beyond those feelings. So those ugly feelings, they create an ugly picture of relationships that appear to you to be baptized in struggle, strain, stress, and just flat out stuck. Okay. So let's talk about that. Struggle in your relationships, strain and on your relationships, stress in your relationships. Listen, I don't want to paint a picture that relationships are never tried. One of the things that are constant and consistent in this lifetime is that your faith will be tried and you will be tempted, okay? So we're going to have some situations. But what I am encouraging you, Superwoman, is the things that I'm sharing with you is to help you be aware, help you be conscious, and give you some tools so that when that struggle shows up, when that strain shows up, when that stress shows up, when you're feeling stuck in your feelings, and you all in your feelings, and you're feeling stuck in, and you know all of that is going on in your relationship, you can use these things. And you can either minimize the time or you can completely avoid some of them. Listen, I am not one of those people who will tell you a whole bunch of good stuff just to make you feel good. I don't do that. I can't do that because I've got to be honest with me. So I've got to be honest with you. And I have to tell you the hard things. You see, I called you out at the beginning of the slide. Listen, that was a risk because me calling you those names at the beginning of the presentation, you could have been like, oh no, I'm done with her. You could have walked away, but I'm glad you decided to stay here because I'm sharing some good stuff with you, right? All right, so I got a call to action for you. So remember, I was saying that I was going to get to it a little bit later. This is what I wanted to get to. So I want you to get your favorite luxury car on your mind, right? So whatever that car is, now here's what's interesting. I'm normally an Impala girl, right? I love an Impala, or at least I used to. Now I love the Malibu because of how the body of the Impala now. I don't like the way that it handles on the road, right? And so I never thought that I would do anything besides an Impala, I mean a Malibu, but I was introduced to who makes this thing? A Hyundai. What is it? It's a what is that thing called? It's my favorite truck now. Santa Fe. Yes. A Hyundai Santa Fe, right? Oh my gosh, I fell in love with this thing. So it's not a luxury car, but it's my favorite. It's a truck, actually, it's a truck. And so much so, while all of this madness has been going on here at the house, because some of y'all know, like, you know, they're doing some work on the house, whatever, and I'm in the process of moving, that I was driving a BMW, a BMW truck. Yes, BMW truck. And I'm sitting in this truck like, this joint is crap. Like, this is not a Santa Fe. Like, I don't even like this thing. So listen, luxury to you is what luxury is to you. So moving on. So you've got your favorite luxury car on your mind, right? Okay, so I want you to get this visual. Earlier, I was about to tell you about your spirit and your soul, right? So they need each other. They need each other. Your spirit is your highest self, right? But so I want you to think of your spirit as your car, as your luxury car, right? But then your soul is the engine. Listen, if your soul does not agree with your spirit, nothing's moving. Nothing is moving. Okay, your soul will shut everything down. And that's why it's so important that you deal with the issues of your soul, Superwoman, because listen, your spirit, your higher self will tell you, go conquer the world. And your soul will be like, yeah, not today. So listen, that is why. So a call to action. It's important, Superwoman, important that you address the things that's going on with your soul. So the Superwoman's relationship guide, I put together a 3-part guide to help you get beyond these feelings. And there's 4 points that I point out, but there's only 2 that I want to deal with today, especially with me being a little short on time. So in this guide, I talk about connection, communication, commitment, and conflict. When you use these together, hold on, I got to move this thing again. When you move, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Oops, back, go back. All right, there we are. All right, here we are. So when you use these together, you can feel happiness and harmony in your relationships with your man, your money, and your mini-me. And seriously, these 3 things, they are so simple but profound, and they can so easily be overlooked, but these are the foundational things: connecting, communicating, and committing. And so I'm going to go into this a little bit, but before I do, let's pinpoint your frustration, Superwoman. Let's pinpoint it. So what it really comes down to is the frustration. Again, I said that it's because of the fear, but what it looks like is your failed attempts, trying to get them to see what you see, trying to get them to feel what you feel, trying to get them to understand. You just want them to get it, and they're not getting it. and it's frustrating you. And that's why you think that they are frustrating you, but it's still the fear. I'm going to prove it. So let's talk about connect, because as I said, I'm only going to talk about 2 things today. I'm going to talk about connecting, and I'm going to talk about conflict. So to connect with your man and your mini-me, you've got to be intimate. You've got to be transparent. You've got to be open, and you've got to be vulnerable. Not necessarily easy things for a Superwoman. Doesn't change it. I mean, it doesn't make it less important. Like, you have to do it, and you might need some work on it. You might need to practice it. Might need some help to do it, but Superwoman, you've got to do it. You've got to learn how to, it will become intimate You've got to be transparent. You've got to be open, and you've got to be vulnerable. And the thing is, they're all feminine qualities. It's all feminine energy. And here's one of the conflicts, Superwoman. We're out here in this marketplace, right? We're out here in this business sector. We're out here trying to prosper, trying to be profitable in our careers, right? Well, in those activities, they require masculine energy. They require masculine qualities. And that's why we tend to press down so much or whatever, because we spend so much time out in the marketplace, out in the business world, right? And so because we're out there so much and we have to step into this masculine energy, we tend to bring that home and bring that into our relationships. So again, the balance, we're both masculine and feminine, Superwoman. And so you've got to step into that feminine energy in your relationships. In your relationships is so important, because this is what they need from you. And what's awesome is if they're getting what they need from you, you'll get what you need from them. So I want you to ask yourself, these are some action steps for you, right? Because I always give homework. I always give you an assignment. And this is all a part of the guide that I put together for you all, but this is just a small piece of it. And so you definitely want to get the guide and you want to put these things into practice. But one of the action steps that I have for you is ask yourself, how have you been trying to connect? So going back to being intimate, transparent, open, and vulnerable, right? Are you connecting or trying to connect in that way with them? Because if you are trying to connect with them from a masculine place, that's where the frustration is coming from. That's where you guys are bumping heads. So you got to also determine, how effective has it been? What you're doing, is it working? Has it worked for you? And if it hasn't worked for you, Superwoman, then no need to continue to go around that same mountain. You got to do something different, right? And then the other and final action step that I have for you is I want you to pick 2 ways that I just shared with you, because this is a lot. You can't be all of these things by osmosis. This is some learned behavior right here for us. I mean, I can't speak for Wonder Woman, but for Superwoman, this is some learned behavior right here, right? So just take 2 of them. Just pick 2 of them and do them consistently. Just give it some time and you'll start to see some changes. You'll start to feel different and they'll start to feel your energy. They'll start to feel that you are feeling different, that you are thinking different, that you are acting different. And then they, and then they see that it's consistent. So that makes them want to say, oh, okay, what's really going on here? So you're going to pique their interest. So definitely do that. And the other thing that I want you to do is rewrite the vision. Remember when I was telling you that those ugly feelings paint a picture of your relationships, of being struggle, strain, and you being stuck in all of those positive things? Well, how you see it, you've got to rewrite it. Let me tell you how to rewrite it. You got to decide what picture you would like to see, right? And then you've got to appreciate that a happy relationship, a healthy relationship is the goal. It's your goal and it's attainable. You can do this, Superwoman. Listen, if you can go out here and conquer in the marketplace, you can definitely get out here and go in there or be in there, should I say, and make some dope things happen in your relationship. You can absolutely get the happiness and the healthiness in your relationship, Superwoman, that you desire. But you got to rewrite the vision. You got to rewrite how you see these things. You got to decide, what picture would you like to see? So then I want to ask you, put down 3 things. I should have told y'all to bring your pen and paper. But anyway, you want to put down 3 things that you would like to see in your relationship. And I've really got to share this point with you because I think this will connect some dots for you. Listen. When I say name three things that you would like to see in your relationship, the very next step that you would do is start saying that. Because what we tend to do, this is how you will know that you are closed. You'll know that you're closed, Superwoman, because of your verbiage, what you're saying out of your mouth. If you're constantly talking about what you don't want, what you don't like, what you don't feel like, and all of those things, you are closed. But if you want to see something different, if you want to open up, then you got to do the opposite. You've got to start saying what you would like to see. Stop focusing on what you don't like. Stop focusing on what you don't want, because it's making them miserable and it's also making you miserable. And it doesn't mean that you don't call people out on the wrong that they do, or or the mishaps or missteps or any of those things. Like, listen, we Superwoman, we're gonna call people to the carpet, okay? But no, it's not about being in denial. It's not about ignoring things or any of that. But what I'm talking about is, you see it, and just, you've got to embrace and accept the fact that they're fallible and they're flawed just like you. You show yourself some grace, you show them some grace. But the problem is, Superwoman, I'm about to step on your toes. I'm telling you now, I'm walking up your street. The problem is, you don't show yourself any grace. Many times you're not showing yourself any grace. So if you're not accepting of the things that you think are wrong about you, and I wouldn't even necessarily say that they're wrong. We all need to improve in areas. We're all fallible and we're all flawed, but accept that it's a part of who you are. That, you see how I'll be laughing all the time? I laugh at myself all the time, especially when I mess up. I'll be cracking up, right? Because it's just like, it happens. And so you got to show yourself some grace. You got to show them some grace. But it starts with you talking about what you would like to see. You got to put words to it. You feel it. You feel like, okay, so let's say I would like to see the communication open up between me and my mini me, right? So it was just like, when, instead of saying, oh, the communication is just so bad. Oh, we just can't talk to each other. Oh, I'm just so tired of, oh, I'll be trying. And no, you're closed. That's closed, Superwoman. Open up. Okay. So change that and say, it gets a little trying sometimes, but I think, I'm looking forward to the progress that I make in communicating with my mini me. See how different that is? It feels different. It sounds different. It's positive, because that's what you want. You want positive. But let's move on, because I'm running out of time. So let's recap real quick. Happy relationships, harmony in your relationships, healthy relationships. I know about this stuff. Why? Because I come from 4 generations of broken and abusive relationships. Okay. That's why this stuff is so important to me. And I decided that my daughter was not going to be the 5th generation. And that's why I did all of this work. And that's why I know all that I know. And I'm still learning. I'm still developing. But my goodness, listen, happy relationships, harmony in relationships, healthy relationships, they're the order of the day. And you absolutely can have them, because I have them. Listen, something that some people don't know, because of how awesome the relationship that I have with my daughter is that I started out abusing my daughter. When she was a younger child, I started out abusing her, but it wasn't, there was one physical abuse event. But that was a wake-up call for me, because I realized that I went too far. But it was mostly emotional and mental abuse, because I loved her, but I could not connect with her. And I could not connect with her because of my abuse and because of my trauma. And so I neglected her, I rejected her, and I abandoned her, just like my biological parents did to me. And so things are so awesome and so wonderful that she doesn't even remember those things. She doesn't even remember it, because she wasn't a baby. It wasn't until she was about 6 years old I would like to say about 6 years old, that I got called to the carpet about being a mother to her. And I was just like, I thought I was, because I kept her fly. She had, her hair stayed done. She had, very nice clothes, fashion. She was a little fashionista, all of those good things. I was very big on education, all of that. But her connecting with her, being a mommy to her, I wasn't that, because I couldn't connect with her. So when I talk to you about connection, that thing is real. So we love our children for sure. I loved her, but I could not connect with her. I didn't know how. So recap, you can change what you see. You got to determine what you want to see. You've got to create your own vision. And Superwoman, you've got to get out of your own way. Everything that I shared with you today is designed to help you get out of your own way. And again, it won't be overnight. It's not osmosis. But if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to do the work, you will get those results. So let's talk about conflict real quick. And I've got under 3 minutes, and I'm going to get it done, Helly, so you don't gong me. So conflict in relationships. I want to tell you that conflict can be a good thing, and conflict can be used to your advantage. Why? Because, conflict can show you where there's discord, and conflict can lead you to a healthy compromise. See how we can take these negatives and make them positives? We can turn things around and use them for ourselves, Superwoman. But that's what Superwomen do, right? Absolutely. In a conflict. So one of the reasons why you got to do the work is because of you knowing what you should do, but not doing it. You knowing what to do, but doing the opposite. And then the guilt of knowing, the guilt for knowing and not doing what you know you need to do. Like, so we've got that inner conflict. And again, we project on our relationships, and we've got to find that balance for ourselves. So it's ways to deal with that inner conflict, and everything that I've shared with you is going to help you with that, including me. So one of the ways that you can deal with inner conflict is join my community of Superwomen. Look, and you can get a Superwoman t-shirt. You can wear this S on your chest too. But yeah, for support, for friendships, for coaching, and more, join my community of Superwomen. And so, in wrapping up, I want to give you a couple of immediate steps, Superwoman, that you can take to help yourself right now. And that's one, be honest with yourself about where you are, take ownership, and forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made. Because listen, we all make mistakes. We're going to continue to make mistakes, and we've got to forgive ourselves along the way. So I have a freebie for you all. And you guys can grab it. Haley has the link somewhere. It's on the sites or whatever. And it's the Superwoman's Guide for building and maintaining relationships with her man, her money, and her mini me. And you can grab that, and it's all for you. And all of what I shared with you here is there, plus more. But I also want to encourage you all to connect with me for support, for coaching, and more across the board at Rae Shares Solutions. That's where you can find me on social media. And my website is isupportsuperwomen.com. And I got it done in 45 minutes, Haley. No gong, no bone. Bye, ladies.